Hi there. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my permaculture project about hooves, hives, feathers, and food located in a small village outside of Chihuahua, Jalisco in the Sierra Madre Mountains. I'm Paige Hunter, and I've been in the health and wellness industry for over 20 years. And horses were what brought me into permaculture because I'm a lifelong learner and I have always wanted to steward the land properly. And my husband, being Mexican, was able to purchase some agricultural land, and we started afresh selling our ranch back in Texas, a small one, and really purchasing land so that we could grow food and grow as people. So let's go. My mission statement is well-being through harmony, impact, and abundance. I want to share a little bit of my vision, which is to facilitate harmonious animal, plant, people systems that positively impact the present and future while yielding food, experiential learning experiences, lodging, and ecotherapy. More fully, this vision can be realized by invoking the values of role modeling, systems learning, rest, and renewal, holistic learning, with the space to contemplate and regenerate both soul and soil. So what was so helpful for me was to have a container to put all the design process in. And I'm very grateful for Go Bradamy because I'm new to permaculture. Yes, I had heard in the background the words, and one of my friends said she was really interested in it, but I had never had a real experience with it. So this has been so phenomenal because a lot of times people have a heart to move forward, but they don't know how. And this was something that was such a powerful, like, here it is all in one place, and explore what you need and where you want to grow. So keeping all that in mind was the design goals, and really the top three are the most important, but in coming together with what do I want, it's living spaces that are mutually beneficial, meeting all the beings that live on the property, resources, safety, forest management, managing waste, water, how to really steward the water resources, easy care, food production, and so on and so forth. So from afar, this is our base map. It's a large property, and this is the base map around the farmhouse. The farm sits on 52 hectares or 142 acres. And I just want to tell you that some of the past patterns and flows have been a lot of fun to watch, especially when the birds are flying in one direction. We know, oh, papayas are ready to eat. When the cows head over to a certain place trying to get into the passion fruit, they're communicating with us like, this is a time. And instead of looking at them as a nuisance, I've begun to look at them as, hey, that's an indicator. Go pick that piece of fruit. And we have all kinds of paths for humans, going to the guava trees, to the farm, the barns, the horses, the places where we care the most. And then obviously my husband going back and forth and the truck to get resources, our workers taking rocks to a certain place, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go. Zones. You can see the farmhouse salad and culinary herb garden, tools, tack and animal care repository, etc. That's the little bitty purple circle. And zone 2 is where the horses and chickens and veggie and herb garden can also be. Zone 3, fruit, nuts, solar panels, free range chickens, pasture land. Zone 4, native plants for wildlife, cows roaming, foraging, places for adventuring, places to hunt wild berries or mushrooms, things to have for experimental learning, education area. And zone 5, we have a very large wilderness, and it's a place for rewilding, hikes, maybe observation in nature, limited foraging. And here's the sectors. I want to talk a little bit about the one that you see. It looks like a lightning bolt in light brown. That was the bats feeding route. It's never been for the last 4 years, but in this last year, it started that the vampire bats came after our horses in the middle of the night. And we were like, what's happening? Well, there's been a lot of shaking going on, and I will touch on that later. But you can see here the summer path, the winter sun path, and all kinds of things happening. All right, observations. I just want to talk about how grateful I am to have a permaculture neighbor who was able to help my husband get some soil samples, and they came back and lots of organic soil, great for overall growing. It's also teaching us, how we can improve and how we can increase nutrient capability and just overall steward well. Here is a contour map showing that the slopes from are mainly the lay of the land is from the northeast to the southwest. And there's a series of arroyos. And there you have it. Let's keep going. Lots of resources. I have an open-minded husband who is starting to say, hey, let's look into more permaculture, which has been helpful. Locals, family that's nearby, lots of social capital from my Permi neighbor. Food security through eggs and growing things, rich biodiversity, solar panels, wonderful volunteers, and some of the greatest, well, I just love having 3 springs on our property. So let's talk about water being liquid gold. What this program has been teaching me is how important it is to capture it, how to steward it, and there's a lot more that we'll be doing in implementation of it. One of the biggest letdowns in this journey for my husband and I is there was a miscommunication with our excavator driver and putting in the pond. And there's, I think, some damage, but we're going to be working with a gentleman who knows a lot about permaculture, and he's a specialist in ponds. So we're going to do our best to compensate for what happened. All right, edges and microclimates, you can see lots of sun, lots of warm, rainy, cool, shaded places, all kinds of great edges and microclimates. And even rock walls that have been there probably for over 100 years, creating lots of wonderful overlapping ecosystems. So let's go. Plants, trees, and gardens. We have places we can grow in the shade, places we can go full sun, a veggie garden that's going in soon, which I'm super excited about. And we're going to talk about built environment now. We didn't know about bioconstruction when we started 5 years ago on this off-grid build, but we do have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a wonderful view. Our house is made primarily of block and wood, and then downstairs we have a place to put our tools, and then we have a place to host volunteers for sleeping or workers for sleeping. Lots of social and invisible structures going on, pesticides in the area, poverty, although it's starting to increase because people are buying up land, they're farming, there's lots of, how should I say, rapidly changing things in the area. Like in 2018, the average education was 8th grade. And with all the new people moving in, that I've met a biologist, a medical doctor, businessmen, engineers, but all of them wanting to come and bring something to the community, not just take from it. I've had some really excellent conversations, and there is some tourism going in. My permaculture neighbor just got a specialty from the government in ecotourism. So that's really exciting that there's that heart to steward the land properly and the resources properly. Something that has been just recently found out for me when I was doing more research is, back in the 1500s, people came over and they believed that the indigenous people were the Tecos. And they eventually died out, whether it was through illness or, intermarriage, or no one's quite sure. But the Spaniards came over and they were looking for gold and silver. And the little town closest to us, San Sebastián del Oeste, became a mining town. it was shut down for a while. Now it's been reopened, and you'll see in here a picture of a lot of people in the community coming together, very concerned about the damage that can be happening. Foreign companies just coming in and extracting, but not giving, not protecting. And so they have decided to rise up as citizens, and I find it very interesting. And I said I would circle back around to the bats and the vampire bats. We'd never seen them before. Well, recently, about 3 miles away, maybe 5 miles away, the miners went up in our area, and they're looking to extract silver somewhere around there. So that is why the habitat has been shook up, and the bats are trying to find new places to eat. All right, and my favorite, which is human connection through animals and nature. It's one of the structures that most guides my principles. So technology, transportation, and energy, just focusing in on that has let me know how important it is that we steward better, how we aren't doing as good as we can. And yeah, anyhow, we move along, we grow, we learn. Animals, waste, and nutrient cycles. A lot could be said here. What I keep coming back to is, if everything can stay in a circle and not become waste, we're winning. And if everything can be recycled, we're winning even more. So anyhow, let's keep going. Concept phase, based on the guiding values and principles and goals. Well, obviously the first part of it was, put the oxygen mask on your face first, bring in food security, organize in a way that you can run from your mission, your core, and you want to be able to better close the systems and really focus on stewarding the water and work with your composting. So really just like baby steps for most people that have been in permaculture forever, but it was our starting area. So that's where we've been. Just a little design on my medicinal and herb garden. And in the second part of the concept plan for this design it's circling back around on how to improve water systems better, how to have constructs that will provide comfort to both humans and animals, and to bring more harmony and congruence around that, so it's best suited for this overall permaculture journey. And concept phase 3 of the design is really about bringing further improvements for on-site learning and application, expansive growth, abilities to create more biodiversity, overall harmonious living through the sites and the habitat, and really to try to live out the mission through creating impact. All right, well, we have lots of species in the wild, and I've really enjoyed getting to see all kinds of new birds. And I should say, even my domestic animals have created great comfort as I struggle at times as I'm growing through this journey. We have a wonderful variety of species list when it comes to fruits and fruit trees, vegetables, nut trees. This is not at all exhaustive. This is just, what is right now, or what has been identified now. I think it could take me years and years to find it all. I did some stakeholder interviews through my husband and my next door neighbor, other neighbors around. The thing that really was good for me on the stakeholder interviews is just to let me know where my husband and I agree, and what his vision is, what my vision is, and then to run with what we agree on. And he's starting to open up to glamping. Not sure we'll ever get there, but horse clinics, learning around horses, that was really exciting. Also to maybe work with a project with my neighbor, and what inspires him, what moves him forward, what does he see for the site. A really interesting feedback around that. Seeing is believing, observation through pictures. We have a dry season, we have a rainy season, lots of biodiversity, fun harvesting, lots of gifts from nature things that I had never seen before because I'm in a whole new area. So really wonderful to learn about how to do observation. And yeah, really great different new foods to eat too. So I came up with an overall maintenance plan. What I do, weekly, daily, monthly, yearly, bi-yearly, what a horse maintenance plan looks like, so we're all on the same page when it comes to operating successfully. Same thing for chicken care. And now for the area where we decided we're going to have to let go of cows, we decided we don't know enough and we are not stewarding well at this point. It doesn't mean forever, it just means for now. And we are very grateful that we found actually about 45 minutes away is a veterinarian who was like, I'll come out by all of your cows. And the words of Dr. Temple Grandin kept going in my mind and playing out, and it's cows deserve our respect. And even though we love them and have enjoyed them, we haven't stewarded them as well, and it's not fair until we really get that under our belts. But what we want to do is go back to a species we totally love, appreciate, and know how to care for. So we'll be getting back into dairy goats. So my evaluations for the overall course, well, I chose it because I wanted to become a good steward of the land and animals that occupy our area. And I want to be also a lifeline, or serve as a lighthouse and a lifeline for people who might be, intrigued or not even knowing that they could become intrigued with permaculture and trying that on. So this experience overall for me has been not to look at myself as a failure, though we've had many failings, but to say, hey, this is learning, and we don't want to destroy what is good, what is working in the system in the meantime. So I'm limited. I have learned I need lots of help to keep reaching out for help. And I've also learned really importantly around my own boundaries, which is don't compromise my health or my sanity to make things happen. And yes, I did miss the first deadline. I'm grateful for the extension as we were going through an international move and had lots of internet issues, but I'm still growing, and it's okay to do things late, but just get it done. So this design process, it just kept pushing me and pulling me like this kids around this little wagon. At times I felt like I was the kid in the wagon, and I had mentors pulling me along saying, yes, you can do this. And other times I felt like I was the one just really pushing myself, or my husband pulling me. So it was this constant, flux of you're learning, you're growing, you're developing. The thing that I had to make the most peace around is zone one, about what to do, how to do it, when to do it, with whom. And so anyhow, great, immense gratitude to Kelda, my mentor, Heather Jo, for just founding such a wonderful opportunity to learn and grow, and for all the generous mentors in our PDC. So anyhow, appreciate you. And that's all, folks.